what would you buy if you're buying a unit at Terra Hill?
What would I buy? I think I'll go for the 4-bedder penthouse.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
So I think Terra Hill is an exciting place, and with proximity to MRT station and freehold plots.
Oh, not by so much! You're just gonna end it for us?
Alright, welcome to episode number 2 of our new launch review series. So today we have George in the house. Yay! As well as Grayce back for a second round. Yeah, so we're going to review Terra Hills, this new project launch at Pasir Panjang, and taking away the research with us today will be Grayce. Grayce has thankfully did the full research deck for us to prep for this review series, and then we're going to kickstart right now with you to talk about this series. Let's go.
You have to pay a premium to enjoy the void space that comes along with this penthouse unit. This entire project.
Something that's very interesting is that on this particular step, which is step number 1, driveway drop-off point, you have a gym plus. So we're gonna head in. Let's go.
Mission control, we have liftoff.
Okay, so for Terra Hill, it has already been launched on the last weekend, and by the time you view this, I think it's already 4 weeks into the launch. And developer achieved a 38% sales result on the launch weekend, and the average price of about 2,650 per square. So today we're going to talk in depth into some of the key things that you need to take note of whenever we look at a review on a new launch. And Grayce, why don't you kickstart?
All right, okay. So maybe we can just, it's quite exciting that it's one of the first few new launches I think we are seeing in 2023. And, with a 38% sale, I think, what do you all think about the results firstly? Compared to some of how the new launches did in the previous year, what do you think about these results?
Yeah, so when we did Botany, just to keep Josh updated, we were talking about the fact that last year there was 70 new launches, this year 47.
Yeah.
So last year, every new launch, it seems that as long as you are like above 300 or 500 units, you will achieve like 50, 60, 70 or even 80% sales. This year, because of the wide array of projects available, due to the fact that over the last 2 years, there was a lot of en bloc going on. GIS was also released gradually, and of course, for the very fact that 2022 had 7 rounds of federal rate hikes, mortgage rate now at the point of filming is about 3.88% on average. So I think a lot of buyers were a little bit on the sideline. So now our forecast is that every launch should be looking in the range of about 30 to 50% take up rate. So I think 38% still pretty decent. Barring the fact that this is a freehold development and the average quantum price for 2, 3, 4 bidders is on the higher tail end of the quantum price. So I think 38% pretty decent. Yeah, how about you, George?
I think this year buyers are spoiled for choices because especially when we are having like 40 over new launches. So I think what the buyers would like to do is to take it on a more slower approach, and then they might see what are some of the new launches coming up. And in fact, I think some of the viewers are actually waiting for our reviews. And then after that, I think once they see through all the reviews, they might see, okay, I might even come back to projects such as Terra Hills, and I don't think they want to rush into it.
Okay, so I think the launch at 38% is pretty within expectations. From the developers' end, it's also within their 100 units to clear on the launch day kind of expectation. They clear 102. So developer, we know Hoi Hup and Sunway, infamous collaboration. They've worked on many award-winning projects together. Right. And we can talk a little bit about the theme and the style later on. Yep. The district is District 5. D5 is a really exciting place to be. I think with the Greater Southern Waterfront developments, there are many eyeballs on this area as well. A lot of transformations, a lot of new projects, which is also one of the reasons why Terra Hill is one of the places that people are looking at, right, in this area. It's a freehold condominium, so freehold is pretty rare. And 270 units. Okay, plot ratio 1.4, which is capped at 4 stories, because you are still capped at 5 stories. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the fact that it's freehold, right? Yeah, so as we know, the government does not release any more freehold lands. And, but interestingly, in 2023, right, if we were to pull up the projects, 15 of the projects, okay, out of 47 projects launched, actually 25 will be freehold, which is about 4 more than the leasehold. Quite a comparable number, right? So what do you guys think about this?
I think one of the main reasons was because of the fact that over the last 2 years, I think developers already forecasted that they're going to clear a lot of their balanced inventory, plus the fact that they're going to hand over a lot of the keys this year and next year. So whenever you see this kind of trajectory in terms of their amount of units being cleared off their inventory list, they have more buying power for more land. And I think a lot of developers went for a bidding spree over the last 2 years. Plus, they also started to look at a lot of en bloc developments, and then that gave rise to a lot of all these freehold projects that's going to be launched this and next year. So most of the freehold, as we can see, they probably will belong to those en bloc projects, as we can see from the whole master list of 47 units. What do you think, George?
I think it's going to be exciting. If we dive deeper, just based on Terra Hill, freehold, and within walking distance to MRT station, I think that is pretty rare. I think it's about 300 odd meters away from the MRT station, Pasir Panjang MRT station. Furthermore, we are talking about a location that are expecting a huge wave of rejuvenation. Other than that, I think the rest of the other en bloc sites that are sitting on the freehold land, they are also on quite a few good plots of land. And I think if you take a look in terms of some of the locations, they are also primed for growth. So I think for those, we'll dive deeper in the other reviews. But yeah, so I think Terra Hill is an exciting place, and with proximity to MRT station and freehold plots.
I think you would see that it's majority of it is actually in the RCR area, and historically the RCR area has also performed pretty well. It's the strongest performing area for freehold actually projects. So if we were to take a look at the unit sizes, we're actually one of the bigger freehold projects, right? So historically, I mean, generally freehold projects, they are more boutique projects, they are smaller sizes projects. So to find something that is about 271 units, I think that's quite healthy. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think based on this list, if we are just looking at freehold in RCR new launches, Terra Hill is the second largest unit in terms of project size. Size in the sense that the number of units in terms of comparison. So of course the largest one will be Continental, 807. Then the rest basically will all be below 100, will all be below 200 units, because the third largest one will be the former Euro Asia Apartments, which is 172 units. So I think based on this size, I mean for project size, basically if you get a larger kind of project density, the first thing that we always talk about will be the volume effect, right? Correct. So I think for 271, it's still pretty decent in terms of the quantity of units available. In fact, I was just browsing through what were the units that were being cleared out over that first launch weekend, right? The 38%. So largely, all the bedrooms were largely cleared out. So out of 30 units of 2-bedders, there's currently only 3 left. And then for 2+30, 30 out of 40 were sold. 3-bedders, about 30 out of 126 units were sold. And then of course 4-bedders, about 14 units were sold. 5-bedders are still remaining. So as you can see, I think in terms of like quantum play, in fact, I think one of the prediction trend that we talked about it during our new launch webinar, number 2, maybe we can replay the clip right here, was that we talked about the fact that 2-bedders would do very well for 2023. However, we think that when it comes to 3 to 5 years later, 3 and 4-bedders will still be the easier ones to be exited in the resale market. Yeah, but 2-bedders that definitely will do well, because if you look at the price quantum, how is the price quantum analysis, Grayce?
Yeah, so if you were to take a look, of course, like what you mentioned, the 2-bedders, the lower quantums, they were definitely the first to move. And then now remaining, you still have your 2-bedders, your majority of 3-bedders, as well as the bigger unit sizes, right? Right. So if you are looking at 2-bedders, for example, you have one of the 2-bedders left asking at 1.8 million. So the PSF is pretty steep at 2007, but 2007, for freehold near MRT, for a premium project like this, do you guys think it's reasonable, or do you still find it steep, especially in comparison with some of the surrounding projects?
I think that's going to be the norm moving forward. I think especially when we are looking at an area with lots of growth potential and with the proximity to MRT station. If you're not aware, like on the effect of MRT station back then when key residences was just at Maju area, the price was pretty much plateau until when LTA announced that the Maju MRT station is going to be launched, and they straight away stopped sale and then they increased by another 200 PSF. So I think this, in terms of the price point, freehold, I think is quite reasonable. Quantum-wise, I think we can easily see why the 2-bedder are very, very popular, especially if you take a look in terms of the layout, which we'll dive deeper later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for 2 bedrooms, if let's say if it's like below the $2 million price bandwidth, I think naturally it will be cleared out because it's freehold in status. It's not easy to get a 2-bedder at this quantum anymore. Something to note is also a disclaimer on the pricing that we talk about now, because prices are subjected to change. Of course, do check with whichever representative are representing you at the show flat, and of course developers reserve the right to change the prices at any point in time because they're the sellers of the projects that they represent. So our discussion purpose right here is basically to talk about some of the analysis that our team has for certain aspects of this particular development. So back to you, Grayce.
Okay, so if you were to look at the location, I think other than talking about it being near the Greater Southern Waterfront area, it's also a place where I think a lot of nature lovers will fall in love with, right? So if you were to zoom out a little bit more, the entire Kent Ridge Park stretch, Hort Park and then down to Mount Faber, Telok Hill Park, you are just right at the heart of nature, especially with the clearing out of the port, which will start in 2024 and then, pan all the way to 2030. It will mean a lot of life, a lot of rejuvenation, and a lot of exciting action for this area as well.
This locale, of course, is being very popular with the Mapletree Business City.
Yes.
So over here, a couple of companies right here that's focusing on like tech and stuff, and Pasir Panjang MRT, of course, that's the key draw. I mean, anyway, in future, I think one of the key pivot when you select a project is that the MRT will definitely be something that will be like a staple food, because by 2030, we're going to have so many different MRT stations. And of course, if your project is not near to an MRT station, then it will be one of the key things that when you want to rent out, tenants will be looking at it. When you want to sell, home buyers will be looking at it as well. So I think it's very important to put that into one of the key criteria on top of the volume effect.
So I think talking about 2-bedders, selling out, I believe that there's a group of people who buy into it as investment as well. So because, you were talking about the Mapletree Business District and also the MRT being nearby, and then also NUS and some of the schools in the area, right? So of course there are no primary schools in the area. So for family types, if you're looking for primary school, I think the nearest primary school is within 2 kilometers. Yeah, so within 1 km, there are no primary schools, but of course there are tertiary schools around. A lot of tenants that will come from the working group. So I think for the 2-bedders, I believe that there were a group of investors who actually also bought into these 2-bedders to be in the area where the development is.
So talking about investors, I think quite a lot of them, as we mentioned, you'll be looking at a 2-bedder. 2-bedder, there are 3 different layouts, B1, B2, and B3, with B1 without the balcony. So this is quite similar to one of the other developments that we actually reviewed, where they have the option of having a 2-bedder floor plan without the balcony, so as to keep the price quantum more palatable. Of course, then as we move on to B2, that is the one with the balcony. And interestingly, these are the type of layout with 2-bed, 2-bath, and that is the minimum size. So in terms of 2-bed, 2-bath, I think that is great in terms of your own stay or for your investment. And then as we move on to the last one, B3, that will be 2-bed plus study with balcony.
So if we can see this, actually I would say that this layout is very miraculous, because I'm actually referring to stack number 17 and 24, which has been fully sold out. So there's technically, if you're looking at level 2, 3, 4, which are the normal units, because level 5 will be the penthouse, level 1 will be the ground floor. One of the reasons why it's being fully sold out is because of the size, but largely because of the fact that this 624 square feet, actually, wow, there's only 6 units.
Have almost everything that you need, right?
Yeah, what is it that there's only 6 units? Where's level 4? It's pretty strange.
Yeah, so it's stack 17 and 24.
Okay, but stack 17 and 24, 0424 and 0417 has the balcony. It is actually the 678 square feet one. So actually, if you want to really hunt for this very smallest and most efficient layout, and you don't need a balcony, which technically speaking, if you are going for quantum, right, this is a perfect layout. Why? It's very hard to squeeze 2-bed with 2-bath into 624 square feet with a home shelter, and that's very miraculous. I don't know how the developer did it. And
they can even fit in queen size bed.
Yeah, very efficient layout for this. And of course, the next better size will be this, which is similar, but you have to pay another 50 square feet for the balcony. Yeah, so I think those buyers that got their hands on the 624 is really lucky, in the sense that they got a first mover advantage at the lowest entry price in terms of lowest quantum. Yeah. How about you, Grayce? What do you think?
if you were to look at it from a perspective where you actually want a slice of this Greater Southern Waterfront development, you want to buy something freehold, you know, you are not worried about the tenure, you can hold it for legacy, and in a project that is very good size, and also if you were to look at the project itself, it's not too dense. The units are actually quadrupled in amount. Right, so compared to last time where there were about 72 units to now about 270. But if you were to look at the site plan, it's not too squeezy as well. But if we're talking specifically about two bidders, they're actually along the 18B and 18, which is bounded by Pepe's Hill.
Boundary wall.
Yes, So one thing to take note is that there's actually that boundary wall, which I thought would actually be a deterrence for some of the buyers buying into this area, but surprisingly, there's still a big uptake for these units.
Because of quantum.
Exactly, which goes to show that quantum is still an important thing that buyers are looking at.
Yes. Yeah, and of course, let's talk a little bit about the site plan. Okay, maybe let's look at the boundary wall. So as you can see, just now as we mentioned, right, the stack 70 and 24 is the first to be cleared. But they are actually facing the highest level of boundary wall, which is over here.
Yes.
Right, so I think this would be like a green canopy wall. Yeah, but technically speaking, you have not much view in the sense, but you get into the quantum play of this freehold project. And developers have to structure the largest units with the best view. And for this case, the boundary wall definitely will be something that they will align all the smaller units to be around here, right?
Yeah, so if you were to look for a two-bidder, so you still want to keep your quantum pretty palatable, but maybe the bigger two bidders, like the 2+ study, and you want, maybe we pull up the site plan. So you want to buy a two-bidder, you want to keep the quantum low, but then you do not want to face the so-called boundary wall because maybe it's not for investment, it's for own stay, for example, and you want to be able to exit in the future. Maybe perhaps you think that might be a consideration that your future buyer might have. Then your remaining two-bidder options will be the bigger ones. So you have an option of the internal facing, so the 807 square feet ones, as well as the ones in the center fronting outwards towards the port.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe let's have an orientation of the site plan. I think one of the reasons we want to do this is because there's still 62% to go. Yeah. So I think buyers will be very keen to know which direction should you look at, what are some things you want to take note of. So of course, the very first thing that we always talk about is first look at all the things that potential buyers next time, 3 to 5 years later, will want to know. Like for example, where's the rubbish collection chute, where's the genset, where's the substation and all that kind of stuff. So we need to refer to like the site plan to look at certain of these items. Right? So genset, G1, electrical substation at the basement, bin center at the basement, G1 genset was also at the basement. So I think cleverly the architect and developer has already preempt this thing. Awesome. Place everything in the basement. You don't have to worry about which facing will face the genset, all this kind of stuff. So I think the main thing you want to look at is, of course, entrance will be the next sort of like little mini deterrent. Let's have a look. Where's the entrance?
Entrance is actually right at
Yu Xiang Road. Oh my goodness, it's so beautifully done as well because the drop-off point is like here. Yeah. So perhaps only like along here, this couple of stacks right here, 3, 4, 5. Will face a little bit, but I think you can sort of feel like, in terms of like the amount of canopy and greenery that's being flushed into the whole site plan is done pretty well. Why is it that, people like to draw this 33.9 meters, right? It's because people will always ask like, how about stack number 38, 37 towards the drop-off point? How far is it? So this is just something that you want to take note of.
But I think interestingly is that this entire plot is sitting on an undulating
elevated.
Yeah. Right. So I think even with the cars coming in, they might not be in close proximity, or they might not even get the headlight that's coming in.
And they built a green roof.
Yeah. So that is awesome. It's done very, very nicely by the developer.
Something to take note is there's no tennis court. Yeah. Yes. So for tennis lovers, you might want to take note of that. But basement parking, definitely a plus.
1-to-1 parking, if I'm not wrong, yeah.
Right, okay. Maybe let's have a look at the district directory map, right? We want to know like what is over here, this whole portion here.
Right, so that whole portion there, just right in front, that is, in the URA master plan, that is actually zoned as education plots.
Right.
So I think this place definitely sorely lacks in terms of the education plot because you do not have any primary school that is within 1 km, but I don't think that is a huge deterrence. And there's a lot of transformation that's going to take place in the future.
Yeah, so for people that maybe you have school going kids, this is just something that you want to take note of. Of course, if you're not really into the the phase 2C kind of thing, within a kilometers kind of thing, then that's fine. How about Grayce? How about this portion? So just now Grayce mentioned that this portion is something you need to take note of in the sense that this is the other development.
Yes, Peppy Hills condo.
That's Peppy Hills, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this portion here?
Okay, so at the back is already your
Kent Park.
yes, your greenery, and then further up is actually the peak, and then island view. Yeah.
So this is Island Hill and then the peak. And then of course, how about on the left hand side?
Also island view. So island view is wrapping around the other side as well.
Okay. Right.
And then further up, you will have your Kent Hill, which is the newest launch in the area prior to Terra Hill.
Right. So with this, basically, I think something that we can take note of is that if you look at how the developer has placed, if you look at all these huge DP1 units,
Yeah, the premium step. Right?
yeah, they're facing with the main living room. If you look at this, their main living room is facing internal. They are all so-called like what we call single load unit because there's no other units at the back. Okay, so they are dual facing, but the main view is internal, which means that in this kind of site plan orientation, they value the internal stacks as the more premium stacks. So this is just something that you want to take off, which means that, of course, if you look at the flip side, all these units are technically considered more premium in a sense because they're also facing to the same direction that the bigger units are facing towards. And then these are also considered the premium ones, stack 19, 20, 21 as well, of course 36 also. Then this part here, education land, of course, you're level 5, this is going to be level 5 as well. So of course, in future, this is just something that you want to take note of, that you will potentially face a plot right here that will develop into a school, something like that.
But of course, for the bigger units at the back, because of the landscaping of the land, right, they will sit a little bit elevated. So in that sense, even with the educational plot of land, they may not face such a disruption to their view.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome, great. Any thoughts from you, George, before we end the site plan analysis?
Yeah, I think even with the peak or island view that is right at the back, right, they are actually situated on a higher ground. Because right is skirting around the other side is actually Peppy's Hill. If you have not been to Bukit Chandu, there is actually a steep hill that is upslope. So I don't think you really have anything that's looking right in front of you. The peak is actually situated much, much higher in terms of the elevation. So I think they will still have greeneries even for the bedrooms, especially for those that are in the prestige block.
Right. Okay.
So, okay, maybe George, you can share with us also, right? What is the difference between the prestige blocks and then the signature blocks?
Oh, sure. So I think for the prestige block, if you take a look at the floor plan, they actually comes with private lift, and the layout, I would say, is awesome. It's kind of a layout that we hardly see today. It is not those kind of Mickey Mouse floor plan where all the bedrooms are actually very good size. For this particular DP1 layouts that is on the prestige block, comes with private lift, and then in terms of the living room, dining room, they are actually very wide span. And bedrooms, they are all en suites. Both of the bedrooms will then be sharing one common bathroom. And they even have powder room. And I think in terms of all the units that we marketed, powder room are usually for properties that are actually premium. So you have almost every corner for all the things that you want, very, very well segregated. And density for the block is actually very little because you only have 2 units sharing for one particular block.
Yeah, I mean, there's Jack and Jill. 11 square meters is considered huge because 9 square meters is considered very good size already. I mean, 11 square meters is great. Of course, then we need to refer to the pricing as well, right? So Prestige is going for at least $5 million onwards. And there's a 5-bedder layout also going for $5 million.
For a 4-bedder, of course, you know, it's labeled as a prestige unit. The prestige units do come with slightly upgraded appliances as well.
There's 2 Prestige units that got sold.
Yeah, level 3 and 4.
Yeah, I mean, the rest is like $5 million, huge size. I mean, for pricing wise, if you look at the pricing, The Prestige is actually at 2.7 to 2.9 PSF. Then when you look at the 2 plus study, it's also 2.8. 3 betas,
2.8.
2.8. 4 betas, 2.7, 2.6. So they're all hovering at 2.6 to 2.9 PSF. Except if you go for the penthouses, it will be about 2.2 to 2.4, 2.5. But the rest is 2.6, 2.7. Okay, of course there's some 2,005 on the ground floor. I think in terms of PSF level, the pricing is correct, because if you take this PSF and compare the rest of 99 years in the whole landscape, this is a freehold. It definitely deserves at least a leap in terms of the percentage of pricing. Yeah, it cannot be at 2002. It cannot be the same as like Botany. Like it cannot be like 2000 to 2001, 2002. It has to be in this range because of freehold pricing. Of course, their break-even price, if you factor in, how much is their launch and break-even price?
The land price was 1,355, and then the estimated break-even was at 2,000 lah. Yeah, about 2,000.
So of course, if you add like 15 to 20% usually that's the range that developers want to have. Yeah, but sometimes you also need to note that when the land is cheaper, it doesn't really mean that the launch price will be cheaper, because developers will still want to price their products in conjunction with the market condition.
Correct.
Yeah, then they want to make sure that it is competitive in a sense, right? Yeah, George, you got any thoughts?
I think in terms of the price premium for this freehold, we also want to take a look in terms of the price point between the nearby projects.
Yeah.
So if you take a look at Bijou, the latest transacted is already at about 2001.
Right.
So that's about 20% higher than Bijou. In terms of the age difference, I think it's still quite okay. And if you compare to Kent Residences, Kent Hill Residences transacted at about 2,000 PSF. So I think the price point definitely makes sense, and I would agree in terms of the price point, I wouldn't say it's excessively over the top, and I think it's quite in line, yeah.
Of course, Kent Hill Residences is a 99-year project. It's quite a sizable project as well.
Kent Ridge
I think
have about 498 units.
498 units.
Yeah.
So quite a sizable project. Of course, there's that premium lah for being in a freehold.
Of course, one thing that I think buyers need to think of is that this area is surrounded by a lot of freeholds, big and small projects. And this is something that you want to take into consideration, because of course when you want to sell in future, you're competing with the rest of the freehold. So you need to make sure that your product has certain key USP that other projects doesn't have. This is considered like a mid-density project, which is definitely one of the key, I think, plus point because of the size, 200 over units, very good volume, and a nice mixture of 2, 3, 4, 5 betas. There's no one beta here. And actually, I think in terms of the closest competition will be Pick at Balmac. Yeah, so Pick at Balmac is one of the projects that's beside Haw Par Villa MRT station. And why do I say that is one of the key competitions? Because that is freehold, and that is, of course, right beside the MRT station, which is very similar to Terra Hill, because Terra Hill is also very close to Pasir Panjang, but Pick at Balmac is very close to Haw Par Villa MRT station. And Pick at Balmac is a bigger project. How many units are there? So that is freehold, completed in 2011, 180 units, but the land is pretty big. And talking about the Pick at Balmac, at a point of launch, we also noticed that in terms of asking prices at the Pick at Balmac by the existing owners has raised up. Yeah, so this is a natural effect that the surrounding owners will always want to have when they see a new launch, or if the new launch also do well in terms of selling price, they will want to raise their asking price as well. So usually, when people ask, does a new launch in the area bring about a ripple effect of all the other resale? Sometimes yes, it does, but also it also depends on whether by the resale owners raising the price, will any buyers bite the bullet and buy them or not? Because once they buy them, then it's considered a done deal. If it's just based on asking prices, sometimes if the sellers are really serious to sell, if they are asking an unrealistic price and it can't move, then they might dip back into a more realistic pricing. All right, let's talk about unit mix, Grayce.
Okay, so if we were to look at the unit mix, no one bidders. Yeah, so I think it's quite surprising that they left out one bidders. in the RCR region, I would think that there's quite a demand for one bidders, especially, buyers who want to stay near city centre, right? So we know that Pasir Panjang to the CBD area is just minutes drives away. So the fact that there are no one bidders, only starting at 2 bidders and all the way up to 5 room, it is a signal towards they are going for more of the luxury, premium, bigger unit types. Also because Pasir Panjang is one of the 9 areas that your average unit size has to be above 100 square meter, right, for new projects now. Okay, so if we were to look at it, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 4 and 5, pretty well spread out, I would say. Generally, the 3 bidders, you will have about 50%. So it's pretty consistent here, where your half of your unit mix are 3 bidders, and then the rest is spread between 2 and 4 and the bigger unit types.
Right. So with this, and now of course, judging at what has been sold, 38%, and what is left, right? George and Grayce, what do you think will be the next to clear? Maybe let's start with the 2 bidders first, George. What do you think will be the next property to clear?
I think the next one to clear will be likely the 2 bidder. Those that are below the 2 million quantum, I think there will still be buyers that will want to have a slice of this area.
So you think the 2 plus study will hold out a little bit first, but will be this low quantum ones?
Correct.
Right. Okay, how about you, Grayce? Which one do you think will be the first? I mean, anyway, there's only 3 units left. So we're all agreeable that this 2 will be the next to clear. How about between the 2 plus study and the 3 bidder?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Okay, so if we were to look at the 2 plus study, right, they are asking at...
Yeah, but these 2 are very close. Look at this.
190K apart. What do you think about the disparity? 190K between a 2 plus study and a 3 bidder.
There are 2 scenarios that could happen. So after the smaller 2 bidders clear out, possibly due to a quantum play, it will slowly move up. To the 2 plus studies and all that. But one thing that may also happen is that because the gap between the 2 bidder and the 3 bidder, 800, 900 square feet is not too much because, if you were to buy the 3 bidder, the PSF is slightly lower as well. So there could be an instance where a buyer is able to, push the quantum up a little bit and may opt for the 3 bidder instead.
Yeah, so all these guys should be the next to go. Yeah, all this.
I think what's crucial to point out also is that for the C1 layout, they are dumbbell in nature. So again, I think a lot of people love the dumbbell layout because of the efficiency in terms of the layout.
C1 layout, huh?
Yeah, C1 and C2, they are...
C1 anyway is only left with this unit, and then of course, what do we have? C2. Okay, these are a bit higher quantum ones already. Stack 50. Is stack 50 a nicer stack? Why is it that is more expensive? Let's have a look. So we have stack 50, stack 42, stack 50 definitely
at the more towards the corner of the project.
Okay.
Facing towards the
Island view.
Yeah.
And it has stack 47, which has been fully sold. Stack 42, and then what else do you have? 35, and followed by stack 20, which has been fully sold as well. So left 1 unit. Yeah, so I think all this will be the next to go. That's C2, 38. I think all this has been gone already, right?
Stack 39 as well.
39.
There is also C2.
Oh yeah, there's still a couple like all this.
Yeah. So 5 is closer to the entrance, right? Yeah. So probably we talked about it being on a lower elevation as well,
Right.
and then near the roundabout.
Right. So I think, the 3-bed compact will be the next to go. Then, in this instance, I do think that once this is cleared, very likely the 3-bed premium will be the next, then followed by the 2 plus study. How about the floor plans? I mean, what do you guys think about the different kinds of floor plans? Maybe we can have a chat on the 3-bedder comparison. Let's have a look at between the 3-bed compact and the 3-bed premium. So this is 904 square feet.
Yeah.
C1 and C2, they are both the same size. Only key differences is in terms of home shelter positioning between C1 and C2. Yeah.
How about C3? Why is it bigger?
C3 is slightly bigger because all the bedrooms are stacked towards the other side. Some people love it because they don't want, the moment you open the door and then you are fronting towards your friends or your family members sitting in the living room. So all the bedrooms will then be tucked towards the other side for C3.
So C1, C2 is a little bit like a dumbbell layout.
Yes.
Something that I noticed is that the kitchen doesn't have a window.
Yes.
The master bath has no window.
Yeah. And the bath.
Common bath has no window, so it's using ventilation.
Yeah.
Right. The good thing is there's a home shelter within. Then for compact 3-bed, 2-bath, home shelter, enclosed kitchen is considered pretty decent.
So between the various 3-bedder layouts, right? As we
C1,
move
C2
on,
is the same lah.
Yeah, C1, C2 is the same. It's just the position of the home shelter.
Then C3 is a
only-
standalone, 969 square feet.
Yeah, with all the bedrooms tucked towards one corner.
Okay, so you pay for another about 60 square feet, but you get a window in the kitchen. You get a window in the bath too. You get a window in the master bath. So actually that's a good exchange if you want ventilation and a slightly bigger foyer.
Once you go into C4, that is where you have your WC. So, for those that don't like to have a WC, then you do need to go for this option. But of course, this one is the one that you have the glass.
Is that
and
the only
window.
difference?
WC and the mini storage at the walkway. So if you see the mini storage right at the walkway, I think those are
Slightly larger kitchen also.
slightly larger kitchen.
Right, and
a
there's an
bit
extra
longer.
store at the walkway, a small one. So that's for additional
Yeah,
about
for those that are
80 square
lazy to
feet.
go all the way to the kitchen to get some snacks.
Okay, C5, C6.
C5, C6, other than the kitchen that is slightly bigger because of the WC, you also have the foyer. So some people like the foyer because of privacy. Some do not want to straight away open the door, straight away fronting towards balcony for feng shui reason. And bathroom, it comes with window. Yeah.
What I like about this project is that there are still penthouses. Yeah, I mean like so many new launches, we don't see penthouses anymore. So here, you still have a chance to get duplexes. If we look at 3-bed penthouses, is at 2.8. 4-bed penthouse will be a huge jump already, 4 over million. Then the prestige 5-bedder penthouse will be 8 million. Then 5-bed penthouse is at 5 million. So I think the 3-bed penthouse is pretty interesting. There are no 2-bedder penthouse. Oh, there's a...
Their penthouse, the 2-bedder penthouse is in the form of having the void area that is having the high ceiling. So that is their form of penthouse. So only the 2-bedder penthouses are the ones with the high ceiling. That is about 15 square meters of strata void area.
I think the 3-bed penthouse is very interesting. And the PSF is the lowest. 2002, 2003 duplexes. Pretty interesting. You got master room on level 2 and then dumbbell on level 1. Stairway tucked in the corner. You got a storeroom below stairway. You got a home shelter. You got everything you need.
And not forgetting you have the void area as well.
So if you were to buy a normal 3-bedder,
that is C.
is already 2.8, 2.9.
2.9.
Then
2.7.
you might as well go for the penthouse. No, that's pretty interesting. What is like
Because if you take a look at C4, 1076 square feet, 2.7,
2.8.
you top up another
100K,
100,000
I can get the penthouse.
at the top floor.
Whoever buy this penthouse, kill you. whoever buy the 3-bedder penthouse will have a easier time to exit because your 3-bedder penthouse will win all the 3-bed premium. So I think the 3-bed penthouse will clear first, then the 3-bed premium will clear. I mean, that's my personal opinion lah, but I think the 3-bedder penthouse are fantastically priced. And there is a disparity gap because it is very interesting when you look at this. Very excited with all this C7, C8, please go and grab them. C7, grab them. All this, as long as it's 2.8, 2.9 million or 3 million, just grab them because there's the gap compared to the 3-bed premium. It's better to get them.
In fact, 0513 is cheaper than 0414.
Oh my goodness. And you're getting it at 2002. And take note, this 1249 square feet, you need to refer back to the floor plan. In the sense that you have to see if there's any void area. Of course, there's void area 20 square meters, but it's still okay.
You can take it.
It's okay.
Take it.
It's okay because this strata void means that you have a super high ceiling, which is like a loft space. That's what we call a cathedral effect, meaning that when you have a high ceiling, you become more creative as a person. So, just like George Newhouse lah. so much, so many high ceiling, including the kitchen. Oh my goodness. Okay. I think it's super worth it because just make just I'm super excited about this. Okay, see I just make one. Look at this price. 20 square meters is equivalent. You take 20 times 10.764, right? It's about 200 and maybe 20 square feet. So I less off from here. I still get about 1,000 square feet, which is comparable to the 108x square feet 3-bed premium, which is going at 2.9 million. But this one I can get at 2.8 million. It's still more worth it. I'm getting floor steppable space at a cheaper price, and I get a duplex status. The beauty of a duplex status is that, of course, when you entertain let's say your spouse wants to sleep, you are here with your friends and all that, it's fine. It's fantastic.
In terms of the 4-bedder, I think the disparity is quite significant between the typical 4-bedder as well as the 4-bedder penthouse. The difference is about 1 million.
Yeah, we should go for the normal 4-bedder.
Yep. But there is a D3 and a D4 penthouse. D3 0422 is at 3.58.
Where?
D4 penthouse is 3.548. Let us take a look at the floor plan. D3 and D4 PH. Yeah, look at these two. Look at these two. Look at
that's
these
the
two.
only two. Okay. 3.5 million and 3.6 million. Why are they the same price as the
D3
normal
and D4 penthouse.
4-bedders?
Let's take a look at the floor plan.
Okay, so we're talking about this two. This guy is the same as the normal 1335 square feet. So when you see this kind of thing, you need to like open up your eyes. Ding, 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 ding.
You give us a call.
Because like we love to hunt for all this kind of disparity. Okay.
Okay, maybe we take a look at the D3 layout first, which is the
1335.
1335 square feet.
Okay.
So the D3 layout, they have dry and wet kitchen. Okay, you have a home shelter WC, and then as you move into the bedroom, two of the bedrooms are Jack and Jill master. The 4th bedroom, just to take note, is slightly on the smaller side.
Single bed.
And you have 3 bathrooms. Okay. Now, as you move to D4 penthouse.
Okay, and something to take note, the 4-bedders, right?
Yes.
Does not have the wide span layout that Grayce was talking about in the last episode.
Yes. I love a wide span layout. You'll love it.
Because usually 4-bedders and 5-bedders must have the wide span one, but this one is still a longish one. I mean, that's fine. I mean, everybody prefers different things, but just for you to note.
The D4 penthouse,
Super high ceiling.
you do not have a wet and dry kitchen. So if you do not cook a lot, you can go for this.
But it's fantastic. You got 2 bedrooms upstairs.
2 bedroom downstairs.
Yeah, that's fantastic. This is a great layout. You have a window in the kitchen, high ceiling in your living.
And in fact, right, your bedroom too, it's almost like an ensuite already.
This is a no-brainer. Should get this. Okay, so if you are hunting for a 4-bedder, you need to take this layout first. D4, there are only 3 stacks available, 15, 18, 23. You must take them because they are 3.5 million. They are the same price as the normal 4-bedders that is 1335 square feet. And you need to take them because even though they have a strata void of 26 square meters, the steppable space will still be about the same, about 1,000, 2,003, and the layout is fantastic.
If you are a fan that do not want to have WC, you don't need dry kitchen, you just go for this.
Yeah, you should go for this. This is fantastic. So we'll come to the end of the floor plan analysis. Why don't we end with what would you buy if you're buying a unit at Terra Hill?
What would I buy?
How about you, Grayce?
I thought you said that's a no-brainer. I think I'll go for the 4-bedder penthouse.
Oh my goodness, yes.
The 4-bedder penthouse, I especially love that the bedroom 3 and 4 is actually at the top instead of like, let's say the master, right? So there are 2 rooms at the top, then you share the common bath. So if you're someone with kids, for example, you know, you have 3 kids or 2 kids, and then you can use the bedrooms upstairs or maybe one as a study room, even like a home office. And then, you know, on the first level, you have your master, and then and then also a really high ceiling for your living and dining, right? So the price disparity makes it really attractive compared to if you were to buy a standard 4-bedder.
Yes, that's right. And actually, if you look at the next 4-bedder penthouse, which is the bigger one, 1830 square feet, which is at $4.5 million, which is $1 million more than this 4-bedder penthouse. And they are both 4-bedder penthouses. The key difference is that this has a study. There's WC. There is a junior master upstairs. Yeah, but if you want to save $1 million, you should get the 153 square feet penthouse that Grayce was talking about.
Especially if you want to exit in the future, right? Then there's this big price disparity gap. So I think that will make your unit more attractive as well.
Yeah. How about you, George?
I would want to go for the slightly smaller quantum ones, just so that I can increase the wider pool of audiences. But I would still go for 3-bedder, and I would just go for the C1 layout.
2.3 million.
Yes, the 2.3 million one.
So next time you can easily exit maybe 2.6 million.
Yeah, and I think 3-bedder, it appeals to a wider crowd of audience, and I think just to kind of safeguard my exit.
Right. So for me, I will go for the $2.8 million 3-bedder penthouse.
Okay.
The reason is because next time if I want to sell at 3.2 million, I can easily exit because nobody will sell anything at that price because all the 3-bedders premium, they will also sell at the same price as me.
Yep.
And the 4-bedders, which is at 3.5, they will naturally want to sell at maybe 3.8 or 3.9 million dollars. So to exit at 3.2, I think will be pretty easy because there's a large pool of 3-bed premiums. And then when people see that, hey, what is this 3-bed penthouse that's bigger in square footage going at the same price at 3 million, then easier to exit in a sense. All right, so to end off our every review series, we want to talk about who will be the next group of buyers that will love to buy this property that you're entering into. So very importantly is to talk about your future exit in 3 to 5 years time. So who do you think will be the core audience that will love Terra Hill?
I think it will be largely two different group of buyers. One for those that are the HDB upgraders from out of core central region, but they are moving towards this place due to the work nature, and they want to move into an area that is freehold in nature. Second group could potentially be those kind of 9,000 over housing units at the couple club area. That could potentially be some of the buyers pool in future that want to buy into Terra Hill freehold.
How about you, Grayce?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that there will be this group of buyers, maybe young working professionals. They, do have a certain amount of income, and then maybe some family support as well, or some savings, and then they want to buy into the RCR area to be closely connected to the city centre, as well as their own workplaces. That could be one group to buy into the maybe 2-bedders, whatever is remaining, as well as maybe the smaller 3-bedder compacts. And then other groups will be maybe family types that want to buy an investment legacy products for their children. They want to live in this area, and because it's freehold in nature, they know that they can keep it for a long time for their children, and they just love the landscaping of the project. That could be another group that will look into Terra Hill very closely.
Yeah. Right. What do you think, Melvin?
I think the pricing is done well. The quantum play is very interesting. So of course the 2-bedders has all been cleared. Congratulations to the developer. If you look at the 3-bed compact, 2.3 million is a very good entry price because a lot of the OCR 3-bedders are 2.1, 2.2, 2.3 million. So this will definitely clear out. And of course, then the next category. So this 2.3 odd million dollars will cater to the HDB upgrader families. 2-bedders will cater to the young couples. Of course, HDB upgraders for maybe families without children or maybe one child. And then the next most interesting one will be that $2.8 million spectrum. It will come from families that wants to move from maybe their project that maybe their first condo, 99 years, they want to move into a freehold. They sell for a little bit of paper gain, they want to upgrade to $2.8 million. Well, this will be a very good entry.
And maybe kids also grown up, going to the teenage phase.
That's right, and they want to park their capital in a freehold project. So I think this will be catering to families that love freehold near MRT station. And of course, in the heat of the action at this D5 RCR zone. Yeah.
Yes.
I think one group that we might have missed out will be the landed homeowners that are within the area. They still want to be within the same area because they're just so familiar, and they might just want to buy into a freehold development. They might just go for a penthouse.
Yeah, they may be looking at the bigger bedroom types
And
as
the
well.
penthouse is the most attractive one because the PSF is at 2002 to 2004. It's the lowest PSF in the whole development. Yeah, just love the fact that it's being priced in this manner. So, all right, great. So we've come to the end of today's episode. Thank you for staying tuned with us on Terra Hill Review. So do leave your comments down below on what are some of the things that you hope to see on the next couple of episodes on our new launch review banter series. And episode number 3, what are we doing?
Continuum, I think, and that will bring us all the way to the east, which is also the same developer.
All right.
Same developer and a mega project as well, right?
Awesome. Right. So we'll see you on the next new launch banter series. Meantime, take care.
Bye.